Good evening to all of you. Today, we have started this new series in which is an expert series. So, what is this expert series all about? In this expert series, every week we are calling the experts. Those who have done the substantial work in their life, and those who are from the corporate sector, or they might be from the entrepreneur world, and those are the people, those who are way ahead than us. I can say those are the expert, and we can get lot of great things from them. And today I'm so excited and so grateful, Bhavya Mangla ji, that you gave me this time for our this show, and being this is an inaugural show, like this is the first time, like first show, and I'm so happy. So friends, let us give warm welcome to Shri Bhavya Mangla, Mr. Bhavya Mangla. He is a person who has 29 years of experience, and you will be amazed to know that he has 17 years of experience in the field of auditing. Perhaps like it is very very rare, I think, sir, to get people above 15 years of experience in the field of auditing. I have seen that people have like 2 year, 3 year, 5 year, but I think I have less. I haven't seen the people having this 15, 17 this much year of experience in the auditing, which really speaks a lot about that you are the person like who really enjoy this profession and adding a lot of value. Friends, Shri Bhavya Mangla ji, he is an author, right? I will say the first thing, I will say that he is an author, and I'm so glad, so happy, and I got chance to know him. I think maybe for more than, I think, 10 years, or maybe
Yep.
more than that.
Yeah, approximately, yes.
Yeah, approximate more than 10 years. And I can see that he's a person like who has this there's something like within our community wherein SubMastery has this intention to give more than what we take, give more and more value. And that's what Bhavya Mangla ji, I found you, that you always give lot more value to what you take. And he's an author, and he is presently a lead auditor and automotive head for India for DNV GL business. Sir, a very warm welcome to the show of Expert Talk series with Arun Sharma.
Thank you, Arun. Thank you very much for the warm welcome. It's a pleasure to be in your company. I've always liked you in many ways. I can see you the way in which you are doing wonderfully in your career, and in many ways that you have motivated me. So I'm sure that in today's session also there will be many new things that I'm going to learn from you. Thank you very much.
Great, so nice. So friends, today's like topic and the agenda which we have taken is the life and challenges of a lead auditor. Well, we have divided this into two parts. Like first part, we are going to talk about the life and challenges of a lead auditor, but at the same time, the second part, we are also going to talk about the auditee, right? A person who is there in the organization, and who is the auditee, who has to face the auditor. So we are also will also try to get some of the information from Bhavya Mangla ji, how what should be the way the auditor should deal the auditors, right? So so let's start the phase one. Should we start,
Yeah,
sir,
sure.
phase one? Yeah.
I'm ready. Yep, please.
Okay, great. So, sir, I would like to ask you that, like, there will be a series of questions, and definitely, whatever we'll be speaking by heart, because there is
Sure.
no sugar kind of thing, and I believe that that's the reason, like, we have hosted this show. Yeah. So, sir, first question I would like to ask about you have been into this industry for so long, 17 years. I know there are so many auditors, but I have seen less of auditors who have spent like this much time in the certification body and certification business. So what my first question would be like, how does it happen that for so long you have been into this business? Like what's the secret, sir, for this 17 years and into this business? Yeah.
Yeah, when I was working my previous company in automotive sector, at that time I got exposed to this quality management system. So initially, our organization went for ISO 9001 and then later for ISO TS 16949. So while implementing all those things, I realized that this is something I was looking for a long time. In my experience in the industry for 12 years, I was trying some different roles in different positions, but somehow I was not enjoying that. But in my previous company, when I got the opportunity with respect to management system, I realized that I think this is the field where I should be. So while implementing ISO 9000 and later ISO TS 16949, my objective was not only to get the certificate, but also to see that how can I excel myself. And once I completed the process of certification, I realized that it's a time to switch over and go to the certification body. So I initiated the process. And since that job was what I had chosen, and I had decided to go ahead with that. So maybe that could be the only reason that I'm still enjoying it. And I've completed more than 17 years. And still, whenever I'm going for audit, I feel excited, I feel motivated. And I think something similar, the auditees may also be feeling about that.
That's great. You said that before that also you were working in the same role in the management representative role. So can you tell me a bit more about what kind of role you were into, and do you think that that is also a mandatory kind of requirement that you need to have that management representative role if you want to get into a lead auditor profession?
Well, there are two ways to look at it. One is to see it from IATF's perspective, or maybe another accreditation body's perspective, that they expect that a person who is joining a certification body, that person should have some minimum number of experience. Now, one is that it can be 5 years, 2 years, 6 years, 7 years, but the important thing is when you're going as auditor to a company, and at that time you're going to different kind of companies, you're not going to only one kind of industry. So unless and until you have got sufficient exposure about different kind of industries, you have already gone through the different levels, it will be very difficult for the person as auditor to understand the expectations of the auditee and to give justice to the job. So if you look at from IAT's perspective, they are saying around 10 years minimum, and some experience in the automotive sector. But otherwise, also I think 10 to 15 years of experience should be there, because only then you can do justice to your job, and you can also enjoy many things, and the auditees can also get benefited from your experience.
Great. Sir, many people might have this assumption. They may think that is it necessary to be a management representative now? Okay, there are no management representative, but still
Mhm,
many
mhm.
companies do appoint that. Do you think that is it a mandatory requirement that you need to have be a like in the role of implementation? Otherwise, you won't be selected in the field of auditing as a lead auditor in certification body.
No, I don't think it is mandatory that a person should be a management representative. Only then that person can get an opportunity in our certification body. But the intent is that that person should have an exposure about different management system like ISO 9000, ISO 14000, ISO 45000, or IATF to that matter. And apart from that, that person should have done something with respect to this management system, because unless and until a person has done something, it will be very difficult for that person to join a certification body and become a good auditor. That person may have got domain knowledge, but that is just one aspect of it. But apart from the domain knowledge, that person should also know how to do audit, how to ask different kind of questions, how to articulate the question, and so many other things. So maybe by virtue of becoming management representative, you get an opportunity to do so many internal audits, so that hone your skill. And apart from that, generally the person in this particular domain of quality, they are also looking after the supplier quality or supplier development also. So they're also going outside and they are meeting different suppliers also being audited there. So that also give them some exposure with respect to how to ask the question and what are the challenges and problems that the supplier is facing. Similarly, by being in this particular domain, it also helps the person to get exposure with respect to the customer audit also, because the management also think that this person understands about the system much better. So whenever there is any customer audit, they prefer to put that person in front of them. So in that way, if a person is in quality domain, the possibility of getting exposure with respect to auditing and management system increases. But still, if a person is from other domain like production or other areas, that person can also do justice to it, provided that person is open-minded and willing to learn all these things.
Absolutely. So being open-mindedness and willing to learn, or that's the most important thing. And we do see that this IRCA 9001 and, certification is also mandatory for getting into the as a lead auditor. Although lead auditor is conducted by the IATF themselves, so that is what the certification body sponsor. But that is it mandatory requirement that they should have the IRCA certification 9001 be a lead auditor in the certification body? Because what I have seen many, job response in the job description, they do write that you need to have this qualification.
Well, it is something like this. A person when he's joining an industry, say an automotive industry, so you should be an engineer, say for example, a minimum qualification or a diploma engineer. So unless and until you are an engineer or a diploma engineer, you will not get the admission in any good industry, right? Something similar is in a certification body that ISO 9000 is the minimum requirement. If a person is not qualified lead auditor, then it becomes the responsibility of the organization to give that kind of training to that person. And so it's an investment for the company, and that takes up a lot of time. And a certification body expects that a person when coming, so they should get some training, immediate training, some exposure with respect to how to do the audits, understand about the guidelines with respect to a certification body, and start doing the work. So that's why it's always better if a person is seriously interested to go for this management field, then the person should try to get a lot of exposure with respect to these different lead auditor courses like 9,000, 14,000, or 45,000. And then, if a person has got a background with respect to automotive sector and willing to become a IATF qualified auditor, so in that case, the organization, the certification body can sponsor that particular person for that.
Absolutely. Here, like what we have seen that for the 9001 to become a lead auditor for the in a certification body, to become a lead auditor for 9001 or maybe 45001 or SHAS, and for environment, the number of year experience is, they say, like 5 years, 7 years. And for, as you said, for the automotive, getting into this IATF role, you said that you need to have minimum 10 years of experience.
Yeah.
So what do you suggest, like to the people, young members, like who have 5 to 7 year experience, and they want to jump in and want to apply for the becoming a lead auditor? What do you suggest that they should, like somebody want to become a lead auditor for, let's say, IATF, so they should
Mhm.
join a certification body at the, like 6 to 7 years of experience, or they should wait to have 8 to 10 years of experience and then they should join directly IATF? So what should be way, like first to join a what I want to say, small certification body, or a certification body which do accept people with 6 to 7 year experience, and then gradually after experience then get into a good certification body for the IATF. So what do you suggest the path, like there are two options, so what do you suggest? Yeah.
Mhm. So as per IATF rules, the requirement is minimum 10 years of industry experience.
Okay.
So it's not that a person, say, worked in industry, say, for example, 5 to 6 years, then work for another certification body for 3, 4 years. So that combines to become 10 years. So the intent is industry experience of 10 years. And in that 10 years also, they're expecting that for a couple of years, the person should have worked in quality domain, should have an exposure with respect to automotive industry, exposure with respect to the core tools like APQP, PPAP, SPC, MSA, FMEA, and all those things.
Okay.
So
And
it is not that a person with 5 to 7 year experience can be qualified to become IATF auditor. And the whole intent, as I said earlier, is that when a person is joining a certification body, so that person is not sitting in the office. That person is going to different kind of industry. So when you're going there, even though now we can say that the reputation of the auditor or the reputation of the certification body has different levels. But if you see 10 years, 15 years back, auditors were given a lot of importance, a lot of value by the top management. And still there are many companies who give that much of importance. So if you're going there and if you're not able to understand their expectation, if you're not qualified or skilled enough to understand their process, then you'll be doing injustice to this particular profession. So that's why it's important to have good experience, at least 10 years. If it is more, it is wonderful.
so do you mean to say that if somebody joins, say, 5 to 6 year experience? I have seen so many young members, they join some certification body and then they say that, oh, I want to become a lead auditor. They join some organization at 6 to 7 year experience and then they become ISO 9001 lead auditor. And then they say, I want to become a lead auditor for IT. Do you think that it will be difficult for them in that case?
It will be difficult. It will not be permitted
Okay.
as per the rules.
Okay. So in that case, they again have to go back to industry for next 2 to 3 years,
Exactly.
and then again they need
Exactly.
to qualify
Exactly.
for that competency.
Even though now slowly and steadily IATF is also reducing the kind of barriers that used to have earlier. It used to be earlier that in the last 5 years you should have worked in the quality department in automotive industry and all that. That kind of thing was there, which now slightly they have diluted so that more and more people can join. Say for example, if I'm working in the certification body for 17 years, and if I take a break, and if again I want to go back to become an auditor, as per ITF rules, I will not be permitted because I don't have any industry experience in the last 17 years.
Got it. Good. That's really good. So, friends, I think what we have talked about is about the competency of qualification competencies of to become a lead auditor. And now, sir, I would like to talk about a bit about your life. The challenges because so many of our members would definitely would recommend our viewers would love to become a lead auditor, and they would like to know that what are the things which you really enjoy being a lead auditor.
Well, just like other jobs, people who are working in industry, here also it's a challenging part. You are going to different kind of industries, and their expectation is very high. In majority of the companies, we are going once in a year. So for them, it is once in a year event that is happening. So they expect auditor to be fit, to be active, to be charged, to be focused, and to give whatever the auditor knows during that part of audit. But if you see it from auditor's perspective, auditors doing the same thing again and again, same thing. So it is a responsibility of the auditor to remain charged and active, because for organization, he's coming, or he or she is coming for the first time. Then second important thing is that as an auditor, you get exposure to going to different kind of industries, different kind of segments. Uh, Assume even if it is an automotive segment, just give an example, then you are going to a tire segment, you are going to a textile company, you're going to a forging company, sheet metal company, electronic company. You get exposure of different kind of industries. So the kind of learning that you get, that's really amazing, I can say that.
Good, that's good. But many people have this, assumption. They think that in an industry, there's a lot of office politics is involved. They have to deal with the customer, and sometimes they have to, face the anger of the customer or the management people, right, within the company, and it's a difficult thing. And then they say auditor is enjoying, like he's getting the respect. So how do you think, like how true this is? Obviously, I think the auditors do get the respect. Do you think that respect is out of fear so that they don't get the non-conformities?
Well, somebody has rightly said grass is always green on the other side. So we always think that the other person has got the better facilities, better support, and life is easy. But I think it remains same when you become an auditor in a certification body. You have got a different kind of roles and responsibility. Yes, it is true that you get a lot of respect and regard when you go for the audit, a lot of attention from the top management and everyone. But that is one part of that particular job. But apart from that, just like in operations, you are planning certain things, you are executing certain things, you are traveling to different places. So all those things becomes equivalent to what a person is doing in industry. Industry has its own challenges. Being an auditor has its own challenges. So you cannot compare it in a way. Maybe when a person from an industry perspective, they see an auditor, they find that this job is very lucrative or very exciting, and nothing to do much except finding the faults. But if you see it from the auditor's perspective, just like the people who are working in industry, they have got different kind of challenges, different one thing, like you used the word politics. So all those things happen because the people are people in everywhere. They don't change.
Great, great. That's really good. So you mean to say that I'm asking a deep question behind the psychology of I'll say the person who wants to become a lead auditor. Why do they want to become a lead auditor? When you ask this question, the first thing they will reply is, "Oh, they will get a lot of respect and appreciation." So do you think that what should be the driving? Although it may vary from person to person, but what should be the real driving force like behind like getting into this profession? Of the lead auditor. Yeah, I think it's a noble, a great job. We are finding someone not fault, but the making the keeping the respect of the standard and making sure that the quality products are produced. So how do you think that what kind of thought process should be there? Although it may vary from the person to person.
Well, I think just like any other profession, auditing is also another kind of profession, which is quite similar to that. When we are working in industry, at times things get monotonous. Something similar happens with the auditor also, because auditor is going to different kind of industries, but maybe doing the same kind of auditing or same kind of standards, asking the same kind of questions every day, making the same kind of auditing reports, and all those stuff. So that way, there is not much difference. Yes, I do agree that in this profession, we get a lot of importance, lot of regard from people, which is not very common in other kind of industry. So this is certainly an advantage in comparison to the other kind of jobs. But I think apart from that, if you look at the designation wise, if you see the money wise, and the other kind of things, I think still in industry, people can get more exposure and much better advantage to be in industry.
Mhm. If you say that, after some years, you say the money wise, you said that the if in industry, like people, they can get more the money. But why do you think that still people choose to be a lead auditor and want to remain in that job? Is because I think it's not always about money. It's always much time about the kind of satisfaction which you are getting, or I will say the would you think you as people compare that what is best, so what do you think, like why then people stay for so long time?
So if you see, majority of the people join certification body out of curiosity because, as I said earlier, the grass always is green. So people think that this job is wonderful, very exciting job. You're going to different places and all that. So that becomes the primary reason that when many majority of the people join, just like me also. But then after that, the people who remains there, they are those people who are not passionate, say about money, but they are more passionate about learning new things, meeting new people, and seeing that how they are growing by seeing different things, different kind of technologies, how they're adapting themselves with different kind of people. And in general, in majority of the certification bodies, the work environment is in general good because majority of them are multinational companies and they were comparatively an easier and a much better work environment to work there. So maybe that could be the reason that why the auditors who stay there and they continue to stay there just like me, that can be one of the key reasons for that.
Absolutely. I think it's more about like working with the like MNCs and all companies certification body, which I see like top certification body, and they all from I think have majority of them, as you said, good work culture and also have fair pay. I think.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep, yep.
Great, that's right. One challenge I would like to talk about, sir, is about like being auditor. Like one challenge, like obviously it's there with people like who are consultant and trainers, and now we also have faced this challenge. But one challenge is there with the lead auditor is like travel. So how do you, how do you see this, like travel as a kind of baggage kind of thing, or if you really enjoy this? What's your view about this? Yeah.
So, when I decided in 2003 to become an auditor, the only question that was in front of me was that is it okay for me to travel as much as is expected in this kind of job? Because it is 2 to 3 weeks of travel every month. It depends upon what kind of audits you are doing, but average 2 weeks to 3 weeks we are traveling. So it is important for the person to answer themselves that considering their family background and the kind of responsibilities that they are having, that whether they will be able to remain away from their home for 2 weeks, how much they are convenient and comfortable that they are coming late in the night, maybe around 12:30 or 1, and next morning again 7 o'clock Shatabdi they are taking up, spending hardly any time with the family, or maybe coming back on Saturday morning and going back again on Sunday evening. So not having enough weekends, because sometimes people feel that the auditors get 2 weekends, Saturday and Sunday. But then these are the other kind of challenges, and how much you are comfortable that when you're traveling, you are comfortable with sleeping on different kind of beds, because people are not even comfortable going to a friend's place or a relative's place and sleep there. Even their house also they cannot sleep on a different bed. But as an auditor, you are changing different kind of hotels, and so are you ready for different kind of foods? If your health is permitting you to relish and have different kind of breakfast, lunch, dinners, uh, good quality, bad quality, very good quality, average quality, with your taste, without your taste. So all those things are important questions to ask before joining a certification body. Otherwise, it's a big challenge to continue there.
Do you think adaptability, right?
Exactly,
Adaptability to the changes and
exactly.
willingness to travel, I think, is something which is very much required. And definitely, I think you should love. I think you have gone to almost all major part of the outside India. How many like countries like you must have visited? Like number of countries?
Yeah,
And how's your experience like as you
DNV gave
compare?
me the opportunity to go around 15 countries, from USA to Japan, and in between you can consider many other countries wherein I have gone and I did the audit. So it all because of the certification body where I'm working.
Do you think any difference, like one question I would like to ask you, came out of curiosity, like auditing the Indian companies and then versus auditing the companies in US, UK, and Japan, or specifically about Japan, like what do you think? Do you find like a difference in the standardization? We have heard more like the Japanese company, they have brought this 5S concept and standardization kind of thing. Do you think that difference, big difference, or what do you feel about that?
I think the key difference which I could see while doing audit in India and other is not with respect to the effectiveness of management system, but more about the honesty of people. Say, for example, if something is not there, there's no documentation, somebody has missed something, there is a very high possibility that, like you give the example of Japan, they will quietly say and politely say that we don't have this document, or I missed this, something like that. They will not try to manage it, they will not try to make a document quickly and show it to the auditor. So I think that is one key thing, that, and it's more with respect to the kind of culture that each and every country is having. So maybe that is a reflection of that. But apart from that, I think broadly the thing remains same. And if I talk about other things, then in all these countries, since in general there is a lot of cleanliness and everything is well planned, so something similar is expected, or you can observe in their factories also, which varies in India depending upon different kind of industries. Again, going by the culture in which we are working.
Excellent, great, great. That's right. So phase one, we talked about the more about the challenges and the the opportunities and the life of a auditor. And
Hmm.
phase two, now I would like to talk about the, because there will be many viewers like those who want to become a good auditee, because they
Hmm.
have to. Not everyone will become eventually lead auditors, but most of them may will be definitely getting chance or as a auditee to face the auditor, irrespective they may be in any of the department.
Sure.
So I would like to ask you like about the relevancy, to start with the relevance of the quality management system in the organizations. Like how do you see now the relevance of quality management system or relevance of the, I say, IATF? Because what I have seen that most of the organizations like 9001, although I do have a lot of respect for 9001 as well, but still I see that like IATF certified companies, they have far better standard, obviously, because that's a standard requirement. So how do you feel the relevancy of the QMS in the mindset of the, I'll say, the organizations, the companies and the organization
Hmm.
top management? How actually do you feel that they are involved, or they say, okay, let these people, or say some system people manage that? So how do you see that kind of shift? And I would like to talk about that from the yeah, 17 years of perspective. Like how do you see that shift, the relevancy of quality management system in today's organization culture?
Well, I think the relevance of management system will always remain there, irrespective of that whether people are liking it or not. Let's take an example of COVID-19, and after that, when the organization started again, you will find that majority of the companies where there was a lot of pay cut, lot of attrition of the manpower. In majority of the companies, you will find that the management system was not working very effectively. But you will find few companies wherein the management system was always given importance and always things were done in a systematic manner. You will find that they considered it as just another thing which has happened, maybe very drastic, not a very common thing, but they ensured that they are not punishing their employees because of that. They are not removing the people because of that. And that was possible only because they were believing more in system rather than some ad hoc things. So that is one of the example of that. And then moreover, those companies which had a good system, they could start again comfortably in a smooth manner without without any major losses. But if you see all those companies wherein there was no management system, you'll find a lot of challenges they faced, a lot of losses they are having, and people had an anxious time that whether they will be able to retain their job or not. So that is one good and big example that is in front of us about the relevance and implementation or the effectiveness of management system.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, you talked about this COVID-19, and there's a lot of questions do come up. What exactly does the auditor see? Because the most of the, what exactly they see, a lead auditor would like to see after this COVID impact. Although it's I think more than a few months. So, what do you think? Like how the how organizations were prepared, and what kind of documentation they have presented you, and what exactly you as a auditor were looking for?
Well, if you see that when companies restarted after COVID-19, everybody did something. It's not that some companies did, other companies did not did. The only difference is that all those companies who had a sound and effective management system, they did it in a systematic manner, but others also did it, but in an ad hoc manner. It is something like this, like a new product development. The companies who are doing a new product development in a systematic manner, the possibility of having first time right is always high. Their costing is always under control. Their rejection is always under control. But all those companies who don't have a system of new product development, they also develop the product. They also start selling the product to the customer. But the only thing is with a lot of rejections, a lot of headache, a lot of issues. So something similar is here in COVID-19 also. The company with sound system, they did it very smoothly. And others, they are still struggling. They're
But
still
what kind of
struggling.
documentation like you were looking for? Some kind of, the verification kind of thing, or I know it would vary a lot. Like people have mentioned this in contingency, or they have mentioned the risk analysis, because there were a lot of questions like it was coming. Yeah, where do we address this?
So here the intent was that how systematically the company was doing the risk analysis. Just like let's assume the case of a customer complaint. When a customer complaint is coming, the intent is that how systematically you are doing that. Say for example, looking first of all into your process FMEA or DFMEA, that whether this point was addressed there or not. If it was addressed, then why still the problem has come? It means either the control was not specified, or if it is there, then it is not effective. Something similar is in COVID-19, that after COVID-19, when the organization was starting again, then are they looking into the risk analysis document to see that whether this kind of activity was defined earlier? If not, then whether they have identified now, and whether they are trying to analyze that what can be the possible challenges that could have come from COVID-19. So it's not that companies have not taken action, everybody has taken action. But then if is it happening in a systematic manner, in a planned manner, or it is just happening that as if whenever any complaint or any issue is coming with respect to COVID-19, then they are taking action. So it's more about an approach rather than anything else. So as an auditor, our intent is to see that how systematic approach you have taken to analyze the possible risk, and then what actions you have taken. And it's very surprising that you will find that organizations may have done a lot many things with respect to restarting their production after COVID-19. But if you look at their risk analysis document, you will not find anything coming out as a risk there. In fact, in majority of the companies, they have not even analyzed or reviewed post COVID that if it is a risk or not. So that shows the kind of importance that organizations give to the management system, even though they are doing everything, because without doing anything, they cannot survive. But then when things are not done in a systematic manner, it takes a lot of time, money, and energy.
Great, absolutely. Yes, you're right. Okay, I think one question which I would like to ask you is about the auditee. They are too fearful when they say your audit is going to happen, and many a time they knew most of the things, but they are not able to present. So, like, why is it so that auditee fear so much lead auditor?
There can be many reasons. First of all, whenever somebody is audited, that itself becomes a pressure on that person, because somebody is monitoring that what you are doing, whether you're doing right or wrong. So even when I get audited, I also feel a pressure that, well, somebody is checking my performance, or whether I'm doing right or wrong. So first of all, that itself, this process itself creates some sort of a pressure. So which is quite obvious. But there are many other reasons that might happen. Many times, in some companies, I've seen that they have got this performance indicator that if number of NCs are more, then it is going to impact your salary or incentives and something like that, which is not a right indicator to do that. Then in many companies, that is being considered your performance, that you are not delivering good, you could not manage the auditor well, so you will not get promotion, or you are not in good books of the management, which again is not a good idea. So whenever I've seen that the organization is giving confidence to the people that you do things in a systematic manner and go ahead with the audit, and whatever results are there, we'll accept that. I've seen that majority of the cases auditors are quite comfortable and they are enjoying. And wherever the management has a lot of pressure on them, or maybe in certain cases what happens is that the person has not prepared very well, so that is a sort of insecurity that person is having, that could be the reason. And yes, it's also true that in some cases auditors are also responsible to create that kind of pressure, wherein because end of the day it is more of a human relationship, that how you're dealing with different people, how you're talking to them, how you're making them comfortable. So there are a few auditors who may be still learning this art of how to communicate with them and how to make the auditee comfortable. That could be another reason that why auditee always feel threatened or maybe surprised with what is going to happen to them.
Yeah, one, as you said, the key criteria when I was management representative, worked for Minda Group of Industries. That was the kind of key criteria. They say that that the number of NCs, non-conformities, there's always a debate. How many number of non-conformities? They say zero. Zero puts a lot of pressure. So, what do
Mhm.
you think? What should be that criteria? Or then we said, then we used to, as a consultant and trainer, like we also used to have this kind of we make this kind of key RA, key result area, that okay, number of major non-conformities should be zero, number of minor non-conformities could be three or four or two or three. So how do you think like people should approach to this number as a, when I say, to performance appraisal of their people?
Well, I would like to relate this number exactly to the RPN number. Like, I don't know from where that magical number of 100 came, that if RPN is more than 100, then it is bad. If it is less than 100, then it is good. Something similar is here in the number of non-conformities also. Because I don't think there is any criteria, say in DNB where I'm working, or maybe there should be any criteria in the organization also, because it should be with respect to the gaps that is being observed in the audit. And why I'm saying is because I've seen many companies that when we go there, when we see their internal audit, you will find two NCs, three NCs, four NCs. But when we do audit and they know their process much better than us, then we find much more than that. So that shows that people are somewhere compromising on sharing the non-conformities because they want to be in good book of others. So when this kind of environment is created in the organization, they expect the same thing from the auditors also, that in case the number of NCs are more, then it is reflecting something is bad. And why it is happening is because people are not willing to accept that there is a problem, and they always want to show as if everything is okay when they themselves know that things are not okay. So when there is this false belief that is being created in the organization, then this challenge comes, that how much should be the number of markers.
That's great. That's really great. I think I know that kind of criteria itself needs to be overhauled and need to be seen in a better light.
Yep.
Okay, I would like to ask you this one question regarding the auditee competency. Right,
Mhm.
there are a lot of programs like intra-audit training programs, and then other than that, they need to have very good knowledge of SOPs and systems. Now, what do you think that how important these programs and these internal trainings, auditor trainings, are relevance, are important for the to become a good auditor?
Well, the idea of internal auditor competence, which is specified in this latest version of IATA 16949, is that whether that person can deliver what is expected by the management. So actually, internal auditor is a representative of the top management. That what is the expectation of top management? Whether top management wants that auditor should go and just write something and come back, or the top management is really serious to find out the real problem inside the organization so that they can take some action. So I think the real challenge starts with the top management, that how much they are serious about the effective management system in the organization. If they are serious about it, then certainly they will expect that internal auditors should be competent with respect to the different roles, and then they will certainly expect that they should be able to deliver what is expected from them. But when they are themselves either not interested in management system or they don't have faith in that, so they also don't give that much of importance to the competence, and then at that time qualification of internal auditor competence with respect to core tools and with respect to process approach and ITF, that looks to be costly. Rather than seeing it that it is going to help the organization, it is being considered as a burden or as an overhead. So this is what I think about that.
Yeah, yeah. So like I have seen that people they ask this question so often, and they I
Mhm.
don't think it is written somewhere that how many number of interpreters should a company have. Like, is there any criteria in an organization? It should be based on risk analysis.
I think it should be logical. It is something
Yeah.
like this, like when somebody asks that for how many years we should keep the training record. So if a person is there for 20 years, we have to keep for 20 years. We can't say that we'll destroy after 3 years. So it has to be logical. So something similar is the answer in this case also. That it should be logical that how many internal auditors they feel are sufficient so that it can ensure the impartiality. It can also ensure that the organization can get the right result from that. So there is no right figure with respect to that. It will
Absolutely.
depend
Great
upon
point.
different factors.
Yes, you're right. Okay, one question I would like to ask about the auditors are never satisfied with the auditee reply at the first, like when they fill up the root cause analysis and they submit the corrective action. Most of the time, they will again, get back the query from the auditor. Oh, this is not right. This is not appropriate. So I would like to know that how, like, what is that exactly the auditor should do so that he should get what exactly the lead auditors are looking for so that it becomes first time right when it comes to the NC effective closure, where the NC should close, like, yeah.
Well, the root cause lies somewhere else. In majority of the cases, authority is always aware about all these non-conformities. It is just a matter of chance that auditor also finds that particular non-conformity. Since authority was never interested or was not having that kind of support from the management to close that, so when this non-conformity is identified, it becomes a challenge now for the authority what to do with respect to that. So since they don't have much to do in that, so they try to write something and they expect the auditor to accept that. But as I said earlier in the beginning, that just like people who are working in industry, they have got their own challenges and own workload. Something similar is here with the auditors also, because we are doing audit on behalf of accreditation body. So if it is automotive, it is IATF. It is for other standard, it can be NAB, CB, RB, or anything. So they have their own expectations and they expect the auditor to see each and everything and accept everything as per that guideline. So assuming that an auditor accept whatever audit is writing with respect to the root cause analysis and other thing, there is a very high possibility that when the report will go further for review, it may be rejected and that will be considered as a competence issue with respect to that audit. So when the auditor sees that the document that is coming in front of is not right, and there is a high possibility that it will not be accepted further. So in those cases only the auditor goes back to the auditor and says that review it and write it again.
Absolutely. Great, great. I think it's really great that we have talked about this phase one and phase two. I am really glad and so happy that we got to, learn so many things. Although in this short period of time,
Mhm.
yeah, and we have talked about the both the challenges and the opportunities of being a lead auditor in working in a certification body. And then we have also talked about the challenges and of a auditee and how from the perspective of a auditor, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Sir, I'm so glad and so thankful to you for taking your time out and coming in this show. If people want to find about more about you, like I know you have written one book also, so can you tell us a bit more, like where they can find you? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. This year in the month of March, I published my first book, The Power of Self Talk. This book
Power of
is
self-talk. Okay,
Power of
great.
Self Talk. So at the moment, this book is available in soft, in ebook, or we call it Kindle version at Amazon. So if you go to amazon.in, so if you type it either my name, Bhavya Mangla, or if you type in The Power of Self Talk, you'll find my book there. At the moment, the Kindle version cost is 99 rupees. And very soon there will be a hard copy also, which will be expected very soon. So once it is there, then you can purchase the hard copy in case you are interested. Then apart from that, you must be knowing that I'm also writing blogs and videos also. So I've got a web page, bhavyamangla.com, and then I have a YouTube channel in the name of Bhavya Mangla. where anyone can go and can see the kind of videos that I'm putting with respect to the quality management system, and there is no charge with respect to that.
Any last message you want to give to our viewer, about like they have this aspiration to become a lead auditor, or if they do not become a lead auditor, how to become a lead auditor? Any last message you want to say to our young youth engineers?
I think to become a auditor in a certification body and a good auditor in a certification body, it is pertinent that wherever you are working at the moment, you need to understand and learn things more deeply. Because if you do things more effectively there, then it will be easier for you as an auditor to work there. I still think that whatever I'm doing as auditor in the last 17 years, it is all because of in the last previous to my job, what I did in that particular company. I'm still getting benefited from them. So try to understand about the management system as much as possible. Try to understand different processes, understand about the core tools and other things. And rather than thinking that it is the responsibility of different people to do their own job, you start thinking that you are responsible for the entire organization with respect to the management system, whether it is quality, environment, or safety, and learn as much as possible. Because once you learn and you understand it, it will become a cakewalk and very easy for you to work as an auditor. And then once you become an auditor and go back to industry and do the audit, people will be delighted and feel happy to be an auditor, and they will like you to be there again and again as an auditor. That's what I can
A
say.
great experience, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Arun. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you. It was a pleasure to be with you. Thank you very much. And thank you all the other people also. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.